meeting for November 3rd. Is it 3rd? We're meeting a little bit early, so I'm calling us to order at 4:47 and a half. First item on the agenda is call to order. We've already taken care of that. Public forum. If there was anybody for the public forum, Leanne, are you here for the public forum?
No.
Okay. All right. I see nobody for the public forum, which is normally at 5, so we might want to ask for that at 5 as well. Next, approval of the October 6th minutes. You all have them in front of you. Any amendments, changes, additions, deletions?
Motion to approve.
All right, the motion and the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Next, we have the Spring 2026 Special Project Grant recommendations. We have $7,262 available, and we had one application, the India Cultural Association. This was for partial support for a mock wedding, and it was discussed extensively at the last meeting. We all sent in, or most of us sent in, our recommendations for funding, and the spreadsheet is in front of us.
Yep.
The average is given, as far as I can tell, doing math in my head, with Mary Kay's non-entry as 0. It's unclear to me whether that was her intent or whether she simply has not responded. So we have two choices here, at least. One would be to take the average without counting hers, and doing that by eyeball, I get about 750. Somebody should check my math there. If we assume that she meant to zero that out, then I think the average is 546. I see a calculator here.
Divided 4 ways, it's 682.50.
1, 2, 3.
So just be removing.
Okay.
So, point of clarification, Brian, she did not respond.
I don't have anything in my emails that indicates that she responded.
Okay.
So-
All right. So I got a higher number because I saw requested as the name of one of our CODA members.
right.
That is not the case. So what's the number?
$682.50 if we were to remove the lack of response
Okay.
as a 0.
Discussion.
I haven't received the email, I thought, because it fell into the promotions tab.
Ah,
But Jeremy was kind enough to remind me,
yes.
so I did
Okay.
find it and responded.
Mhm.
So I'm sure Jeremy must have reached out to Marianne also.
Yes. Yes.
So
I would
it's
have
more
guessed
likely in my mind that she did 0 than not. But it's just thinking out loud.
that. Okay.
But I mean, it's just
Brian?
it's peanuts.
Well, not to them. It's,
Yeah, I know.
So-
I'm sorry.
So if we did want to remove her 0, we'd
if
create a
we-
motion to do
What
that.
do you
and
think?
take a vote on it.
Yeah, ultimately,
Either way.
we just need a motion for a dollar amount. It
Right.
could be the
And that
average
is needed
including
now.
it. Yes, an average including the 0, an average excluding the 0. It could be a different number altogether.
Mhm.
So ultimately, it's up to 3 of you.
Yes.
Since nobody else is.
But you do need it now.
Yes.
We're out of
Yeah.
time for booking her.
So I'd like to motion that we approve an amount of $682.50, therefore removing Mary Kay's lack of a vote from the average.
Okay.
You guys, I can.
Second that.
All right. I think that is reasonable to make the error in favor of the applicant.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
So all
we
in
vote
favor
on-
say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. So 682.50
Yes.
for the spring special project. Next item on the agenda is what do we do with all that money that's left for the special projects grant recommendations? That is, there is no, the next fall's special project is next year's budget, right? So this is amount we have
Correct.
surplus in this year's budget,
In this fiscal year.
in this fiscal year. Okay,
So what we have would be 7,262 minus the 682.50 that we just approved.
right. So that's about
I have-
6,600.
Some thoughts about it.
Good.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I may share
please.
them with you, but I need also Brian to clear it up. Because I remember you telling us that we could transfer that money to the Public Works Commission. So I assumed it is, it is all right if you transfer the money to another Ames, City of Ames department. That is my assumption.
Under the
Uh,
same tax.
Well, yeah, so the Public Art Commission is financed through local option sales tax money,
Right.
which is the same source of funding as the Commission on the Arts. So I think in that instance, it would make sense to do that if the
Hmm.
commission wanted to do so.
Okay.
If you wanted to consider moving the funds to another program other than Public Art Commission,
Mhm.
I might need to think about.
Okay, let me
How
tell
that
you
would work.
what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I have talked about it before. I said, only one application was a little too small for me. So in order to able to perhaps incentivize the community and even capacity increase, I thought maybe if we could transfer the money to the outreach department of City of Ames, and they already do, public relations for the City of Ames in general.
Right.
So they could perhaps, I don't know, hire a speaker, send them to a radio station, find a podcast, hire a speaker for a podcast, et cetera, or maybe even organize a small workshop. And then that money could, go a long way to increase both the awareness and the capability of the applicants and organizations as such to become more involved.
Is there a specific office you have in mind for that?
Yeah, what was it? Oh,
We have a communications and outreach team.
communications and
Okay.
outreach.
I think what we would,
It used to be public relations.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, what we would do in that instance is leave the money in the CODA budget. And then, because that office is funded
Yeah.
already. So
Right.
we would leave the funding in the CODA budget. And then once a speaker or a program of some kind is identified, then we would approve whatever the funding is for that event or activity
Mhm.
to come out of this amount.
Who would be the ones who identify that?
We have a couple of people in that division. There's an outreach, there's a communications manager, there's
Okay.
there are a couple other folks who,
So city staff,
yeah, city staff, yes.
advised by CODA or?
I think what we would do is, in that instance, we would lead them to identify something. We could bring it back to you in an update, and then CODA could authorize moving forward.
We just can't tell them because it's their job. They're the pros in this.
Right.
We just
Right.
tell them what we need, what we think is a good idea, what we think would be a good, activity, and then they can say,
Mhm.
"Oh, let's do a podcast, or let's do this, or let's do
Right, right.
that," and then
Interesting idea.
So if that's what you would like to do, yeah, any more information you can give us around what your expectations would be, that would be great. So
Mhm.
what are you're looking to get somebody to come in and
This sounds like an ad hoc committee of CODA.
yeah.
I just created.
I'm sorry. Excuse us. The meeting's been going on for about 15 minutes. I'm sorry, and we're having a little trouble hearing each other up here, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
So I certainly love the idea of using the money somewhere and not just letting it flow back into the fund.
Mhm.
I would propose that we make a second call for special projects,
Hmm.
and then to make the second call, see what we get. Then whatever happens out of that, we can appropriate whatever is left after that.
Do we have enough time for a second call?
That's the question. Do we have time for a second call and execution by the end of the fiscal year?
I think we probably do.
We don't have a December meeting.
That's true, but I think it would take a little bit of time for us to put together the materials anyway. We would be able to bring it back to you at the January meeting for approval, and we would do. What we could also do is you could set the execution timeframe to be longer than the fiscal year, so we could make the contract longer than just ending on June 30th, and then we just know that money is going to be spent by, say, September 30th.
So we could,
Yeah.
in essence, call it a summer
Sure,
special
Yeah.
project.
you could certainly do something like that.
I like that idea too.
Yeah, personally, my opinion is instead of letting people know that, oh, you missed the chance, you know, apply for this, then building something up among the rest of them would be my preference. But if it's not supported, then I'm fine with it.
So we've got three options here. We've got public art, moving the money to the Public Art Commission. We've got a new special projects proposal, or we have PR to use a
The cities,
almost
cities,
dirty
cities
term.
department.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on that side. but
All right,
if it's
let's
not
do this
so-
the proper way. I'll make a motion,
Okay.
and you two can second it or not. I move that we have a summer special projects program, and any residual funds from that go towards PR.
Second.
I I said,
Are we ready to vote?
Mhm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Great.
we'll bring you back some materials in January
For a
for a summer special project, right?
right? And we'll have to decide on the limits and per proposal and all that.
Yeah, we'll put together a recommendation for you. I
Okay.
think I'm inclined to recommend a higher limit
Mhm.
for each award, just to ensure that we can
Mhm.
spend down this money.
And again, if it isn't all spent, we do have
Yeah.
another option.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, wonderful.
perfect.
Thank you. Hi. We're moving on to the next item in our agenda, but before we do that, I do want to return to the public forum, since these meetings usually start at 5 sharp, and it's now close to 5 sharp, or 6 sharp if you didn't turn your clocks back. Is there anyone here for public forum? Okay.
I'm Jenny Brockpoller with the Ames Community Arts Council, and I wanted to let folks know that the second annual Empty Bowls is coming up fast. That will be November 15th, starting at 5:30 p.m. I have to pull the poster out because I can never remember the full name of the location. We're at Collegiate United Methodist Church, Wesley Foundation, on Lincoln Way. Tickets are on sale around town, at the Octagon, at the church itself, at the Vault in Gilbert, and the Gilbert Lutheran Church. We're benefiting Backpack Buddies and the shop at Iowa State and the Ames Community School District. So we're excited to spread the wealth this year. So hopefully people can join us. That's November 15th. Thank you.
Great, Jen, thank you.
I'm Bill Dilla with Ames Town and Gown, and I have an announcement for another event on November 15th. This is a Town and Gown concert featuring Grammy-nominated artists, soprano Laura Strickling and pianist Daniel Schlossberg. That will be in Martha Ellen High at 7:30. So after you've had your fill of soup at the church, you can come down. You can come down the street to our event. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Anybody else want to announce something for November 15th or any other date? Great. Well, we're now on item 6 of our agenda, and that is the 2026-27 annual grant hearings. And before we get started, I'm not the chair of CODA, but I'm sitting in for the chair of CODA. My name is Steve Kowaller. I'm one of the CODA members. And I appreciate all of you coming. Keep your ears and eyes peeled for a special projects program to be announced for this summer, as we decided about 30 seconds ago. All right, with that in mind, I know you all have time set up, so 5 PM we can start. We're 2 minutes behind, Steve, so you're up first. Ames Choral Society. Steve Hoyfeld.
Hi, I'm Steve Hoyfeld, and I direct the Ames Choral Society. And we've been going, this is our 61st season, my 44th season with the group. The last couple of years, we have had a number of new people move to the area. The group was set up to provide an opportunity for people who are out of college, but we also have had middle school, high school, and college students participate in our choir. We appreciate the help that we have received from CODA over the years, and we have continued to update how we raise funds. We had a couple of rough years because we ended up we mistakenly charged too little for one of our concerts. And so that took a big bite out of funds that we had available. But anyway, we've been rebuilding from that. We've got about 50 singers singing this semester, and there continue to be emails requesting more information, finding out how they could participate in Ames Choral Society. It's one of the few community choirs that does not require auditions. And in fact, this semester I have 2 tenors, 2 male tenors, and 5 female tenors. So that's kind of unusual, and about 25 altos. So it is not, we don't stop at a quota for particular sections. But anyway, I try to provide a variety of literature. We're doing 3 concerts this season. We did 3 concerts last season because of where we stood financially. We had to dispense with the summer concert last year, and we're not going to do it this year either. But we still participated with Municipal Band on the summer concert on Flag Day, and we're planning on doing that again this year. We have the past 2 seasons, we've drawn primarily from our own library and the Choral Public Domain Library and IMSLP, which is also a public domain music library. So anyway, we look forward to continuing our endeavors. We have tried to spend more on publicity. We have updated how people can donate. We have a QR code on the website. They can buy tickets through the website as well. So we have moved from the 19th century into the 21st. So anyway, I don't know if you have any questions about that.
Any questions for Steve about Choral Society?
Good.
Okay.
Stay
Well,
there.
I will stay here. And
Did you have more to say about Choral Society before we move to good?
I can't think of anything else. I think that, we try to keep our dues to a manageable level for most people. We offer the opportunity for people to, if they don't have the funds, they can come and speak with one of the board members, and we try to discreetly manage some kind of funding for folks. I am not privy to that, so I have not been aware of any of that happening in the last year. But I did have one person contact me late, just a couple of weeks back, who had asked about the dues, and they were not in a position to do that. But it was also too late to be a part of the group for this semester. So we'll see if they come forward next semester. But anyway, we appreciate all the help that we've gotten the last however many years it's been now. So.
Okay, thank you. Next is Steve Hoyfeld.
Well,
Talk
and
about good company.
here I am. We are in our 33rd season, is that right? Yeah, for Good Company. It's a group that I began to give, it's a treble choir. So it's a group that provides an opportunity through auditions for women to be participating in a variety of literature written for treble voices. A lot of the adult treble choir music was not written, or at least not widely available until the mid 1800s. So to go back to other treble choir music, you have to delve into boy choir or mixed choir music. So we've got 26 singers, I think, 27 singers. So we also have, for the first time as a regular member, a high school student. So it is an auditioned group. We do 2 concerts a year. And we promote treble choir singing through, well, last spring we had an event where we invited singers to be a part of this, and we did 3 pieces with them. And we had a range of ages, high school age. I don't think we had any middle school singers this time around, but high school age and older. So, a lot of times I think women's choirs are kind of overlooked. And a billion years ago when I started doing this, I thought, it'd be kind of nice to provide an opportunity. Let's face it, you go to most volunteer choirs, there are usually more women than men. And to give women an opportunity and to validate the importance of treble choir singing, we have kept going and continue to move ahead with that group. And I guess for both groups, it's just, I think we're living in a time where the arts provide an opportunity for people to explore other ways of living their lives, and also to get away from the turmoil that surrounds them. So anyway, I think that there are a lot of people in both groups that I direct, and in my church choir as well, who feel that this is a great outlet to be able to make music and continue to learn about it, gain skills. So we're doing all of that kind of thing in both groups. So anyway, I don't know if you have any questions, answers. No. Okay.
How many Good Company concerts will there be this year?
There'll be 2. And this year Barb Evenson retired. And so I have 2 new accompanists that I'm working with. One is Dave Howell, who's accompanying Ames Choral Society, and then Peter Roberts from Urbandale is accompanying Good Company. So we had 4 people audition for which I had never heard of before. So I was thrilled that we had 4 really excellent candidates, and it was a challenging choice to pick just one of them. So anyway, yeah. Do you have anything to add, Ed?
Well, I would add that we will be.
This is Ellen Rasmussen, our president.
That we are participating in the Troubled Voice Festival that Jennifer Rogers from Iowa State University is coordinating. So that is very exciting for this spring.
Yeah. At the end of April, there are going to be 4 high school girls choirs and Good Company and Iowa State women's choirs. How could I forget to point that up? But anyway, we'll have our concert at the end of April, and then this mass choir will be at the beginning of May. So anyway, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Nathan Moore, Creative Artist Studio of Ames.
All right, hello. My name is Nathan Moore. I'm representing the Creative Artist Studios of Ames, or CASA for short. We are an artist workspace, 2 buildings south of the campus town Dunkin' Donuts, where we serve about 40 artists to provide space where they can make their work. That ranges from ceramics to 2D, 3D, fiber arts. When they're making their work, our space promotes an opportunity to exhibit that work. And so we have 3 upcoming gallery exhibitions. One's in Mainframe down in Des Moines, one at Green Hills, and one at the Octagon at the end of 2026. Our spaces also include space for classes, workshops that serve the Ames community. And so part of the funding that we're seeking is for those spaces that are not rentable to members, but rather seeking to support Ames and surrounding communities. So you'll note there's a 9% increase from last year's request to this year's request. That's just reflecting some of our expenses and increase from our landlord, the Collegiate Methodist Church.
Didn't mention 25 years.
25 years, yes.
That's awesome.
Question I had on your application there, I did not see full numbers for revenues and expenses for 26, 27. Is that something, do you have that? Is that something you can provide to us?
Ooh. Leanne, would you like to field that?
I think in previous years, we have left that blank, and so we did again. We will change that and put in numbers next time.
Are there any big changes from the last few years?
Not really right now, no. Biggest changes are we increased the amount of public space. We've got a new ventilated classroom that we've been developing since last year. Year before that, we increased the fiber arts node. So those are the changes, but nothing very different in how we're running things. We've been pretty close to full occupancy for the last couple of years, which really helps a lot. And,
Okay.
So you'd expect your 26, 27 application budget to be similar to what you put for the
Yes.
25, 26 budget? Okay. I think that'll suffice for me.
Smooth changes, no job.
All right. No, we're good.
Great. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. We are running 1 minute ahead of schedule. I hope that's okay with everybody. Next, Ames Town and Gown, Bill Dilla.
Bill Dilla with Ames Town and Gown again. So if I were, I was thinking about this, and I think we can kind of tell you our mission in 6 words. Outstanding musical performances in intimate settings. And it means 2 things. I've been, able to go to a couple of recent performances down at Des Moines Civic Center. And, it's a wonderful big space. We have had artists on our programs. 2 years ago, we had the pianist Michelle Kahn, and at the end of last season, violinist Sean Chen. And when you see them at the Des Moines Symphony, they're maybe giving a 20, 25-minute concerto performance, and you're watching it with 2,000 of your closest friends. And Ames, our attendees had the opportunity to be in an intimate space of about 200 people and be with these artists for not only be with them for an hour and a half, but also interact with them after the concert. The other thing that is unique about the way we are set up is we support musical forms such as the string quartet, which is kind of the core of chamber music, and the guitar duo that appeared recently on our program that only work in intimate spaces. We also do outreach, and there's a variety of that. Some of it, the core is a K-12 audience, but we also try to get out to the general public, such as the presentation by the Beijing Guitar Duo that was supported by a special project grant. We also had an interesting event at the end of last season with the violinist Kevin Zhu, where we held it for Friends of Ames Strings up at Northcrest. And so it was interesting. We had these junior and senior high string players interacting with the residents and the general public. And I think that's a format we're going to follow again in the future. A few comments on the financials. You might be wondering, why the donations for 2024, 25, and tickets for the same year are so much higher than this year's budget and next year's application. The reason for that is we had an influx of memorial donations last year. We also had a musical homecoming concert that was very popular, so there were additional tickets sold for that. As with many arts organizations, we worry about donations in uncertain times. Expenses are also a concern. We're looking at ways to certainly keep a lid on advertising costs. And also our artistic director, Paula Forrest, does an amazing job. I give her a limited budget and she brings in amazing talent. And one of the things that happened this year, and I think sort of by coincidence, is it seemed like some seasons everybody was either coming from overseas or New York. Our last guest pianist, a pianist, was based in Kansas City, and the Strickling Schlossberg concert I mentioned at the start of the meeting are coming from Wisconsin. And I think we're going to, in the future, try to bring in more people from the Midwest region because, maybe we're biased, but I think these people are just as good as the people who come in from New York, and it's a little bit less expensive to bring them in. And then the final thing I want to say is, having been involved with the National Chamber of Music community, there are very few communities that support the arts, such as Ames. So again, I wanted to thank the city for its continued support. So any questions?
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. I do want to plug a little bit the outreach efforts K-12. Sometimes I want to steal a kid and bring them to us
Yeah.
so I could go myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Really
and that's that was kind of a nice coincidence with the Northridge, or excuse me, the North Crest event. Is we were able to put that, instead of having it just be in the school where you couldn't get in, the general public was able to access that. And so we will continue. We have events like that in the future, which we may have with the string quartet in the spring if we can arrange that. We will certainly advertise that so people can come to it.
Thank you. Everybody knows I was kidding when I said that, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
You said Bob.
You don't have to pretend if we had set it up that way.
Exactly. All right, we are still right on time. The India Cultural Association, Soma Banerjee.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
This is Soma Banerjee, and I am representing India Cultural Association. So, this organization has served for more than 30 years, and they organize cultural events that covers music, art, drama, and it brings harmony, and it fosters social and cultural ties between Indian Americans and other communities that are residing within Ames and Central Iowa. And we have always been thankful to Kota for supporting us with sponsorships, and we are expecting to get continued support from it so that we can continue with our events. Thank you. If you have any questions.
I don't have any questions, but one comment on how you're going to reach audiences or get the word out to folks. I would strive to get on community calendars. I feel like that's a great way to do it. And I saw that as a common theme as I looked through a lot of these applications. So just an idea for all of you.
That's a good suggestion. I'll note it down. Yeah, thank you.
So I did notice that the city of Ames sends these emails out with a list of activities going on. So I did not know that we could get on that list. So I'll find out how to do that, and then we would like to have our events posted on those as well. Yeah, thank you.
I have one question
Sure.
about the other expenses item.
Yes.
Is there if I remember correctly, it was blank. If it wasn't, please correct.
So like,
Not blank in terms of the amount, but blank in terms of the explanation, like itemized, what are the miscellaneous expenses? What are the other expenses?
right. That's a good
What
question.
has it been, I mean,
Right,
historically?
right,
Based
right.
on previous.
Yeah,
experiences.
so we did not specifically mention what are the other expenses, but those covers based on like kind of events. Like for example, when we make art workshop, so sometimes we need to buy something to provide to the participants, like those kind of expenses. That is not constant for every event, but it varies from events to events. Yeah.
Because you're
So, like-
also, if I'm correct, you're also limited as to funding certain things like food, if I'm correct, or salaries. So that's why I wanted to find out if there's anything in there under that category that we're not able to.
So-
fund.
Our activities are primarily volunteer based. We do not have any salaries associated with it.
That's just an example.
Right. Yeah. But so the other expenses, those are miscellaneous ones that suddenly come through. Like for example, last year we did a cultural show for various states in India. Each of so a group of people from each state would come and showcase what their culture brings. Some of them, like rice flour, for example, they used to make different shapes out of it, and that's a very traditional practice in South India. So that's a small expense, but that doesn't warrant to be a line item itself.
And if I'm correct, when you put in for reimbursement, that's an itemized list, and we can worry about that, or the city can worry about that at that point. So
Yes.
there are lots of other expenses that you have.
We do. We do put in our reimbursement receipts for each and every item, though.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Just a question.
Yes,
There was a line item in the sheet that talked about the sports mela event. I'm just wondering if we missed that part of the discussion, or was it a part of your internal discussion?
It was an open discussion.
Yeah. Oh, what, do you mean for the spring special projects?
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about that afterwards. We covered that before. We started at 4:45.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll be hearing from the city about that, I guess, at some point, right, Brian?
Should we stay on for that later, or what, do you require us to be here or no?
Again, you mean for the spring special project? Yeah, we did that. So we decided on a number, and the city will be in touch.
Gotcha. Okay,
Okay.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is Heather here? We're a little early. Thank you. Hey, Heather. Heather Johnson, the Octagon Center for the Arts.
Good evening, Commissioners. The Octagon Center for the Arts mission is to encourage interaction and creative self-expression by providing inclusive opportunities and spaces that bring people together through the art. In January, we're going to be fortunate enough to celebrate 60 years as a community arts center. And so we're very fortunate to have funding not only from private donors, but also part through the city too. So I want to thank you all for that. It's very competitive out there with other grants and corporate funding. So thank you so much. We appreciate this. This last year, we worked with over 600 artists through our art festival, our shop, teaching, as well as exhibiting artists. So we're looking forward to adding on new programming, such as more outreach in our community. Starting in June, we started monthly outreach with 60 Forward, as well as Boys and Girls Club, and even combined them to have interactive projects with a student as well as with a senior citizen to see kind of how they could create something together. So that's been one of our new initiatives. We also, as I mentioned, had the art festival this year. We had 92 artists from 6 states. We also had about 7 other nonprofit cultural and artistic groups that were on display there, so they can help promote their other programs, events coming to town too. So that's one way that we try to collaborate with our other cohorts in the city too. We often have hands-on activities for no school days. Like today, there was no school, and so our education director was able to have 6 hours of hands-on crafts for mostly elementary age students as well. So we keep busy for sure. We are going to also have a special exhibit next year to celebrate our 60th with a timeline over the last 60 years. Some of our special exhibits, special events. So we welcome you to do that. One of the highlights too, the last couple of years, is the renovation of our 3rd floor space. And we now have a co-working space with 7 current students that are either MFA students through the College of Design or just recent grads. And then we also have 5 private studios that are affordable, made possible with a capital arts grant through the city too. So that's been a wonderful to see artists be able to have space that they can afford to keep on creative exploration and even helping out with classes too. So we've been keeping busy. So I don't know if there's any questions at all about the proposed budget at all.
No. Any big changes between last year and this year budget-wise?
Budget-wise, no, we're actually trying to keep it pretty even keel, just because we know we've gotten notices from certain grants either having to cut back on funding or totally changing the scope of what they can, especially if they've had layoffs in some corporate giving businesses too. So we're trying to keep it kind of streamlined and try to stretch the dollars that we do receive.
Keep your head low.
Yeah, exactly.
Understood.
Any other questions?
Good.
Thank you.
All right,
Looks right.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next is at 5:30, but if you're ready, come on. Senior Variety Show. You are not Jeanette.
Well, I hope not. I either am or I'm not, and I'll tell you who I am in a second, or I might have a great Halloween costume, which I forgot to change, or I'm a good actor. But anyway, my name is Leo Timms. Jeanette gives her regards not being here. I'm happy to be here to talk to you a little bit about the Senior Variety Show and represent them. I'm going to first start out by saying I want to thank the city's Commission on the Arts. You've been paramount the last couple of years in helping us establish what our goals are, and that would be helping us offset 2 major expenses, which really floor the show. One is where we have it, which is the Ames City Auditorium. So it showcases the city, so it's excellent. And then publicity and marketing, which we all know. You'll see in our funding requested year went up because as well as every, our costs have gone up. We're trying to do that and meet our goals. I want to talk a little bit about the show, a little bit about last year, a little bit about history, and then move on. So I wore the shirt. Why not? But it just reminds me, it started in 1995. So it would really be 31 years ago. You'll see today we've only had 29 shows. But it's called Celebrating Aging Through Performing Arts. And it was about a subset of people over 60. Great talents, wanted to showcase it, but how do you do that? And it was the development of the Senior Variety Show. But what I want to say is it's not just about showcasing. It was building a community. And I'm in it now. I've been in it a long time. It's not just the performers. It's the volunteers, it's people like you, it's the audience, and it encompasses it. And so when you look at the Senior Variety Show, its real intent was to showcase people, build a community. But the last piece was, and if you do that and people will come, you can raise funds for senior projects. So let's keep that in mind. And the last one is always have fun. You always have fun. So anyway, what happened last year? What a success. And you were a part of that. 2025. We had 2 acts, 35 performances. We had 122 individual senior performers. That's 30 more than we've ever had. 25 of those were new. They'd never set foot on the stage of the City Auditorium. We had 80 volunteers, right? We had people like you and other sponsors that made it great. We had over 650 people in the audience. And I'm on the board of the Senior Variety Show. Last last week, we wrote checks for over $10,000 to 5 senior entities with 1 pending. So let's go backwards, 1995. 29 years, not 31 shows. We'll talk very briefly about COVID, what happened during COVID. Anyway, 29 years, and we were slow in the beginning, but I just tallied the numbers, right? 1,000 performances, not over 900 performers, 900 volunteers, plenty of community support. Last week, when we wrote the checks, over $250,000 put back into the Ames and the Story County community. So before I talk very briefly about this year's show, which the show will go on. So what happened during COVID? And I like to tout this. Not much, right? And we decided you don't need to wait for the year. The show was a culmination at the end of the year. We should be showcasing all the time. So that year, and I'm the editor, and I want your email so I can get you on my news. So we developed a newsletter that goes to everybody every month, anybody that wants it, where it has video clips, it has pictures, it showcases you as our sponsors, it showcases performers, it showcases events, and it's a monthly newsletter that we can put there during COVID, and we did that, and we continue that today with over 350 people on that newsletter list. We also developed, coming out of COVID, what's called Senior Variety Show Ambassadors. It's a small subset of people who take little vignettes out. We come to your meeting, we go to the radio, we go to whatever. So it's to keep that community and that celebration going all year round. Culmination is the show, no question. That's our big expense. So the show will go on. It's already set. It's a little different than the date you have. It's August 14th and 15th. We had to move it back. It is in the beautiful Ames City Auditorium, and you will be starstruck because the theme this year is called Starstruck, Stage and Screen, and it's all about Broadway, and it's all about Hollywood. So anyway, we want to thank you. We hope you'll continue to be a partner. Hope to see you at the show, and if you're willing to give me your email, you'll be on. It's a great newsletter coming up for Thanksgiving. I'd love to have it. But thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thanks, Leo. Questions?
No question.
Join us. Remember, I'll get you my email. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. We are still close to on time. Next is the Ames Community Arts Council. Jen.
Hi again. I'm Jenny Brock-Powler. I'm the director of the Ames Community Arts Council. We're a small organization. I'm the one part-time employee, and I think we do kind of a lot of cool stuff. Our mission is to serve local artists, arts and cultural organizations, businesses, and residents of Ames and beyond. We are committed to building community, encouraging partnerships in the arts, and helping artists to thrive. This grant helps us to do pretty much everything that we do, which is kind of an impressive list. We have a weekly newsletter where we promote the events that are going on in the city. We also have a pretty extensive website where you can find out a lot about what's going on with a really great calendar. In the fall, we do the studio tour. This year we had 10 artists, which was a mix of new and returning folks. So a lot of folks who were brand new to Ames found the studio tour and made some friends along the way. So that was pretty exciting for us. In November, we'll be doing Empty Bowls, which again is a new program for us. This will be our second one. Talked about that a little bit earlier. So we're excited about that. That's coming up fast. The Business of Art Conference fills our spring, where we do some programming for artists so that they can become the real entrepreneurs that they are. Lots of artists know art, they don't know business. We try to fill that gap. In May, we do our Arts Awards, where we celebrate the folks who have done good work throughout the year, and our World Collage Day, which is a great partnership with the Ames Public Library. We get about 50 people to participate in that every year, messy fun. Then our ongoing stuff, we have our Gathering of Artists about once a month, Music on the Move as requested by the community. We're active with the Ames Foundation and their murals project that I think you've probably been seeing going on downtown. We sit on that committee, and then we award small education grants, which, as you can imagine, in the current environment are popular because folks are looking for that little bit of extra funding. So we're proud to be a part of that as well. So yeah, that's what we do in a given year, give or take. So I hope you feel like you get a good bang for your buck for your investment. We couldn't do what we do without you, and we really appreciate the support. Does anybody have any questions?
No questions.
No
That's right.
questions?
That's my favorite part. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Well, we could scratch our heads and think of one. Thanks. We're now just a little bit ahead of schedule. I think we can move forward as long as the next group is here. That's Friends of Roosevelt Park. Stacey Lawrence.
Hello, my name is Stacy Ross. I am chair of Friends of Roosevelt Park. I have been part of this organization since it began in 2003. We serve Roosevelt Park specifically with a variety of things, but our focus is the outdoor concert series Roosevelt Summer Sundays. It's been going on, as I said, since 2003. It's been funded through grassroots supports from the neighborhood, and as we've grown, there's more interest across the community. We're seeing more and more support across the city of Ames and even in outlying central Iowa. So we really appreciate the community's native support of us, and the Commission on the Arts has supported us. A couple years ago, we had a grant from you to support a top tier artist, and we've come to you again to seek funding for another top tier performance for our 2026 season. We usually host about 13 concerts focusing on local musicians and artists. And with grants such as the community grant, arts grant here, we would be able to afford a larger band or a higher quality band than we normally get, which does help spread the news about our events and get more people interested in coming to Roosevelt Summer Sundays. So we're very thankful for all you do for the city arts culture, and we do hope that you'll consider our request.
Thank you. I enjoy those concerts a whole lot.
Thank
I guess I'm
you.
allowed to say that. Questions?
No questions.
Thank you so much.
But before you go, just,
Yes,
we've got a little time.
Yes.
Can you preview the coming season? Any
we
highlights?
are a volunteer-run organization, and we have not really made any bookings initially, but there's always some favorites that we would be happy to return to. There's always audience requests. So if you yourself have an audience request, please let us know, or anyone really is welcome to email us. Our website is summersundays.org.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right. Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you. It's too late for a Beatles reunion, I guess.
50%.
Hmm?
I'm sorry.
Impersonators. We have impersonators.
Well, we're moving along at a great clip. So is Myra Jackson here for actors? Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Myra Jackson, and I'm first vice president of Actors Board of Directors and an Actors Volunteer since 1991. I've done just about everything that you can do at Actors without being on the stage. I'm not a performer. I'm not even barely a public speaker. So, but I have done producing, set painting, and pretty much everything, including planting flowers in the front of Actors Building. And today I get to be here to ask you to award Actors their annual grant request. Actors' mission is to provide leadership in the performing arts for the people of Central Iowa, Ames, and through live theatrical presentations, and to serve as a resource for other arts organizations. Actors provides an all-inclusive theater experience. We are in a unique position to provide opportunities for young and old. Our performance of Sister Act, we had actors on stage from 17 to 80. All are able to participate and collaborate on productions as peers. Performers, production teams, and audiences all share in the experience, and many lifelong relationships have started here. Actors is a 100% volunteer organization. We do not pay salaries, honorariums, stipends to actors, directors, musicians, crew heads. A conservative estimate of actor, director, participation, staff, volunteer would be about 1,700 hours of volunteer staff for normal production. Larger musicals with ensemble casts and musicians rack up more volunteer hours than that. Actors is very fortunate to have a dedicated group of volunteers who are so willing to donate their time and efforts to support theater arts. Actors' main mission is to put on 5 plays per season, and each show is paid for by ticket sales. Actors has a lot of competition for entertainment dollars, and we are striving to keep ticket prices affordable. Every show has a strict budget, and we have learned how to produce shows that usually don't cost a lot of money. That has helped us so that we rarely have a production that loses money. Actors is very fortunate in the mid-70s it had a president and board of directors with the vision and drive to see that Actors got its own building. Some organizations are envious of our building, but maybe don't realize that it comes with a lot of work and expense. Actors charges an overhead to each show for the use of the building for rehearsals and performances, but it does not cover all the costs that are incurred in the course of the year. Insurance, utility, and maintenance costs have gone up, as well as other resources required to maintain the building. In fact, this fall we needed to replace a 23-year-old HVAC system. The CODA annual grant is important to us as it helps support our shows so that funds from more profitable seasons can be used for building maintenance and upkeep. Actors is a good steward of our money and proactive in raising money. Besides this, the CODA grant, we have, for example, applied and received a grant from Prairie Meadows for a new washer and dryer and refrigerator. We applied and received a Story County Community Foundation grant for a new sound system that supports miking our actors on stage. We also have several of our actor volunteers who volunteer for and support Rummage Rampage, and which produces some revenue there too. And since we're talking about efforts to raise money to support our mission, you might notice on page 6 of our application that our 25-26 budget net cash amount shows a surplus. This is an artificially high number. Actors has been fundraising for new seats for our auditorium, and this number reflects that effort. The timing of the CODA grant application and shows the fundraising, but because there's not a capital expense line to offset it, it's off. Our new seating is expected to arrive and be installed the week of November 17, just a couple weeks. What appears to be a surplus in funds will be used to pay for the new seating within the next month. I'm asking you to award Actors the $25,000 we requested in our application. CODA grant funds will be thoughtfully and carefully used to fulfill CODA's mission to support the arts. The funds will be used by Actors to defray the rising costs of royalties, scripts, and other production-related expenses. They will be used to defray the recent trend of sharply rising overhead costs, and will help fund Actors' community outreach efforts. Actors has recently started to participate in ISU's Student Welcome Fest at the start of the fall semester to introduce Actors to incoming students. This season in particular, our 70th season, by the way, Actors is attempting to put community in community theater. Already this season, for example, Actors sponsored a food drive during its fall production, You Can't Take It With You. Actors would like, over the next year, to increase its visibility in the community and to welcome more Ames and Central Iowa citizens through its doors to participate as audience, directors, actors, technical staff, and friends. Thank you for listening and for your consideration. Do you have any questions?
You covered my question, so thank you.
I did have just one question. about the donation line in your,
Oh, I'd have to get mine.
okay. It's just a curiosity. It's not that important.
Should have brought it with me. I thought about it and I forgot to grab it.
The donation line, it's not, it's just a detail maybe, but the number for 26, 27 is significantly lower than 25, 26 or before.
We never know what's gonna be donated. That's, I mean, honestly, you know, you just don't know. And so we guess, we don't assume we're gonna be getting the same donations that we always do.
Well,
And
we
especially
hope you do.
in this time, and everybody's feeling the pinch.
Mhm.
We just weren't confident that we would get the donations.
Okay.
That's frankly, it's kind of a sign of the times. We're just
Maybe.
concerned about that.
All right.
Anything else?
Nope, that covers my question. And
Thank you.
the gentleman to my left seemed happy too, so thank you very much. Ames Youth Choir, which I remember as Ames Children's Choir, is that right? Years ago?
Good evening.
Hi.
This is my third year with Ames Youth Choir, and somehow I have not been up here to speak yet. So tonight is my first chance to do that. My name is Emily Malambos, and I'm the operations manager for Ames Youth Choir. I also have our bookkeeper, Don Harms, here with us tonight. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Ames Youth Choir. At AYC, our mission is simple but profound: to promote musical excellence and joyful singing while giving Central Iowa's youth a place to belong, to grow, and to find their voice. Each week, our singers, now as young as first grade, gather to learn not only just the notes and rhythms, but confidence, teamwork, self-expression. They are learning what it means to create something beautiful together. Your support through Coda funding has been absolutely vital. It has helped us keep tuition affordable, provide scholarships, ensure that every child, regardless of background, can experience the joy of singing. But this year, our need continues. Rising costs for advertising, general operations, and retaining quality staff, such as our accompanists, threaten the stability of a program that has become the cornerstone of the Ames art community. With your investment, we can continue to expand access, inspire excellence, and strengthen our community ties. In the 2026-27 season, AYC will host concerts in care centers and retirement communities, collaborate with early childhood music programs, perform at the Midwest Children's Choir Festival. Our singers will bring music into schools and coffee shops, places where art can surprise and connect people. And through our rebranding and new outreach initiatives, we will ensure that every family in Ames knows that they are welcome in our musical family. When you fund the Ames Youth Choir, you are not just supporting performances, you're helping young people find their voice. You're nurturing future artists, educators, and community leaders. You're keeping choral music alive as a joyful, essential part in the Ames cultural landscape. Your support makes that possible. Thank you for believing in the power of young voices and your continuous support of Ames Youth Choir. Questions?
I think I'm good.
I'll ask a question. I asked someone else on this. How many performances do you do over the course of a year?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
We do 2 formal performances. We have a winter concert and a spring concert. And then we try to do at least 1 informal concert per group. We have 3 groups with us this year. So that would be the fall, it's at the retirement communities. In the spring, we try to switch things up and we do coffee shops, or we're looking into maybe doing some parks this year. kind of to serve as advertisement, but also to spread our music around the community. And then whenever people reach out to us, depending on schedules, a lot of our kids are really, really busy these days, and we try to be mindful of that. We do try to jump on some other opportunities as well as they come along, as long as it works with what we have and with the season that we have planned for the year.
Both my daughters are alumni. So.
That is awesome. I'd love to hear that.
All righty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ames Chamber Artists, Chris Johnson. Hi, Chris.
Good evening. How are you all? So my name is Chris Johnson. I'm the treasurer of Ames Chamber Artists, and I get to present here this evening to you. We have been coming to CODA for many years now, and CODA has been very generous with us in terms of providing funds to do the things that we really want to do for our community, which is bringing choral excellence to Ames. There are a variety of outstanding choral groups, and we just want to add to what is already going on here. And one of our focuses this year is going to be to continue to do collaborative things. We've worked with Iowa State in the past. We've worked with the Ames Youth Choirs in the past. We've worked with area high schools. In the 26-27 year, one of the things we want to do is a sustained food drive to benefit Food at First in the fall semester. And in the spring, we're looking to volunteer to partner with the Ames Public Library to highlight the complex community resources that the library provides, culminating in a concert entitled Text and Song. So as you might imagine, there are a lot of overhead costs that we incur with regard to bringing in musicians, buying music, which has gone up, using various facilities in the community. We've also started doing a live stream for our concerts, and that incurs, processing fee and an audio visual technician to run things. So the CODA money really helps us do those things along with our donations, along with our ticket prices. So we try to manage our money well, money that you've entrusted to us, and we try to give you a good return on your investment. That's what we have for you this evening. What questions can I answer for you?
I don't know that I should ask a question since my wife is in the group, so I usually abstain, so I will do that now.
No questions from me.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. All right, we are about 5 minutes ahead of schedule. I'm working towards maybe a short break at some point, but let's keep going. Come on. If you're here, we'll go. So this is Dance Center.
Yes, Dancer
Dancer
Company Foundation.
Yes, thanks.
I'm Molly Neal Wong. I'm the president of the foundation. This is Heather Robinson, and she's our vice president. We're going to tag team this a little bit.
Okay.
Hi, so the Dance Center Dancer Showcase is an annual free community performance presented by the Dance Center Dancers, a pre-professional company supported by the Dance Center Dancer Company Foundation. Our mission is to provide volunteer financial support for the education, development, and advancement of company dancers while enriching the community through the art of dance. We have about 40 dancers ranging in age from 5 to 18. We have a 3-hour showcase that we put on that it highlights ballet, tap, jazz, and musical theater. So the grant funding goes to support our facility rental for that, the dress rehearsal time as well in that rental, the essential production costs, which are lighting, sound, costuming, props, and insurance, and ensuring a professional quality event that is accessible, inclusive, and enjoyable for all.
couple other things about the showcase performance is it's beyond, some people might think, oh, is it like a recital? Is it like a dance recital? Because this is a pre-professional group, they receive a different type of training, and they're more of a performance kind of a company versus just a competition team. So this is something that we like to provide for the entire community. It's a free event. We bring in audience members from all over the state, some from out of state. Some years we have a live stream where we have people even in other countries watching. I'm not sure going forward if we'll be doing that. It'll depend a bit on the location of the event. But let's see, anything else? I think that is about it. If you have any questions, let us know.
Questions? What's the typical venue that you would use?
Typically, the last, maybe 4 or 5 years, it's been here at Ames City Auditorium. Previously, it was at Ames High School. We've looked forward at changing it to the high school, possibly in the future. We've had some scheduling issues with, it's very tough to get into Ames City Auditorium in the time frame that we're looking at. Story Theater Company has a lot of weekends booked. There's a lot of other dance groups that like to come here. We'd like to potentially in the future have a little bit larger space with, more options for dressing rooms and those kind of things. So currently this year it will be, in this coming May, it'll be here at the Ames City Auditorium.
Okay, so that helps you figure out your expenses.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this
it
year
does.
anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay,
I think
thank
we're
you.
good. Thank you both.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Speaking of Story Theater, is the Story Theater Company here? Okay.
Did you want to take a break?
I think we can keep going. Yeah. If you guys are ready. Some athletes are really trained to go at exactly the right time. Great. So one of you is Jenny. Right?
I'm Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
This is Amy, the president of Story Theater Company. So this is my first time doing this. Do you just want to hear the overview of the project or our company, or what would be the best way to go about it? All of the
It's your
above?
5 minutes.
Okay. So we represent Story Theater Company, which is a youth theater group in Ames, Iowa, and for the surrounding area. And we support the growth of theater in over 300 youth a year. We involve their parents. We involve different adults who work as directors and production managers and choreographers and so on and so forth. So on the whole, our group actually helps a wide variety of children at adult ages 8 to 18, and then any adult who is kind of drafted in to help on some of those projects. And our funding is to support our year-long projects of usually 4 major theater productions, which will involve various youth and workshops that we put on throughout the school year, and then summertime workshops, which are a huge boon to kids who need some beneficial summertime activities, for parents who need childcare during that time period when school is out, and they have a place where the kids can learn, where they develop in the arts, where they develop social skills, where they have a safe place to be themselves, where they have support under the guidance and influence of wonderful mentors who love working with children, who love theater and love seeing the development of children in those areas of their lives. And so we are asking for money to help support our main stage theater productions, as well as a teen show that we'll be doing next year, which is the Shakespearean show, which will be great for those kids to learn how to read and interpret and act Shakespeare. And then the teenagers put on their own production themselves. They create their props, they do the choreography. So there's a lot of wonderful stuff that they do to learn and grow in that area, in addition to all the workshops and other projects that we put on. Do you have anything else you want to add to that? Or okay, go for it.
So 3 out of our 4 shows take place at the Ames City Auditorium. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of is that we have done a pay what you will, pay what you can ticket price, where people can come in and pay anything they want for a ticket, even $0, we'll give them away. We do have a suggested donation for those tickets, but people can pay whatever. We want theater to be accessible. We're also this year we're doing an exciting workshop for our teens with a Broadway actress who's coming in to do a workshop. And we're hoping in the future that if that goes well, that we'll be able to continue that sort of thing and give new and different opportunities to our kids.
So we're always aiming to grow and increase and continue to make things that are accessible to all of those age groups that we try and cater to, which it's hard to sometimes compete with what is happening in the world, which is one of the reasons we're trying to do these bigger kind of master classes is what we're hoping to do next year too. And from what I've heard, it's going to be a big thing for them, that will be something they really look forward to, working with an industry professional rather than just kind of an adult who likes theater.
Okay. I have a question. In the past, you've been very ambitious, which is great. And you found that some productions cost more than you had anticipated, and you've come and asked to take advantage of the opportunity to do a particular show with our special projects thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. I also appreciate that you seems to have taken our advice and have bumped up your request a little bit so that you can think big from the start and not have that slow you down. So I just wanted to thank you for asking for more. I think that's what I'm doing.
With good reason.
Yes.
For more.
Yes. Thank you.
I don't have a question, but I do want to commend you on, I really liked the part in your application where you talked about some of your partnership with local groups, Boys and Girls Club, YSS. I love the idea to offer a free weekday matinee for area children. So I just wanted to commend you on that.
That's a very popular matinee. We enjoy presenting that.
And it's also a way to get new kids involved, because sometimes theater just passes through families. And we'd love to have that be something where all kids have access and want to participate in it, and not just word of mouth by an older sibling type of thing. So expand our program through that too.
Very good. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next time slot is 6:10, and we are 7 minutes ahead. Why don't we take just a 2-minute breather, and we'll pick back up at 6:06 with the Ames Desi Drama Group if they're ready. We're going to pick up again here. I think we've had enough stretching to get through the rest of this. The Ames Desi Drama Association. Are there representatives here? They are at 6:10, which is in 3 minutes.
If the next group's here, then we can always go.
Yeah.
They show up.
We'll come back to Ames Desi. Hope that they will be here soon. IOFA, are you ready? Hi, Randy. Great. Before you begin, what is the pronunciation of IOFA? Is it AOFA?
Perfect.
What's it? IOFA.
I always say it depends on what part of Iowa you're from, because it could be
What if you're-
AOFA,
What if you're from
but
New York?
IOFA, yeah.
So
I go
IOFA.
with Iowa.
Yeah, that's right.
Great, thanks.
So my name is Randy Compton, and I serve as treasurer of IOFA. And this is Tammy Colbeck, who's executive director of Stevens Auditorium. And we want to thank you for your continued support of IOFA and bringing live orchestral music to our community. This past year, we had visa issues, which forced the cancellation of the Czech National Philharmonic. But with the CODA funding, we were able to bring the Izuri Quartet and help support the Des Moines Ballet Company by bringing live orchestra and doing the Romeo and Juliet ballet. This coming year, in January, we're welcoming the Delirium Musicum, which I think is a smaller chamber group. And as we look at 2026, 2027, we're working with agents to set up routing and fees to bring one of the following, hopefully, the National Symphony Orchestra of the Ukraine, the Double Sens Chamber Orchestra, the Budapest Phil, or the Lviv National Philharmonic Orchestra of the Ukraine. So again, we thank you for your support. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
How do you, with curiosity, how do you pick the upcoming, or you have like a number of, you determine a number of artists and then reach out and then work from there, or?
Yeah, every year we look to book orchestral music. So whether that's an international orchestra, American orchestras have typically been way out of our price range. They're probably 6 or 7 times what an international orchestra is. And so we work with agents. I work with agents across the country. We also look at block booking with Lincoln, Nebraska, Champaign, sometimes Kaufman, Kansas City, sometimes Minneapolis, but mostly it's Lincoln and Champaign for a run out to the Midwest, because they're either doing an East Coast tour or a West Coast tour, and we'll try to pick up a weekend as they go out. And so it is a lot of moving pieces. In these past few years, we've had visa issues with our international orchestras. So this year, to be as we were booking last fall, we lost our Vienna orchestra because they were worried about what was going to be happening on the U.S. front and getting over. Because the other piece that we found I think it's been a year since there's new visa costs, and where it went up 216%. So for a Justin Bieber coming from Canada, it's no big deal. But for an 120-piece orchestra coming over, it's a per person fee. And so it went from, say $100 to, 216% more. So we're constantly looking at who's already over here, and they have a big enough run that they can offset those costs. Yep.
Any more questions?
When will you know who the next one is?
This is November. We should know We already have dates in for most of these. So we wait till our Broadway is booked, which will probably be in January. So we should know by 1st of February.
Okay.
No later than March 30th, though, because it's part of our season.
Great. All right. Thanks.
Very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Anand Balasubramanian. Great. Ames Desi Drum.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm Anand from the Ames Desi Drama Association. Short form is ADDA. And so this is our third year, after forming our organization. And the funds requested for 26-27 are mainly, once again, to expand the number of offerings that we offer and also increase the number of shows that we offer. So in the last couple of years, we almost had like one show and then like only one show. So now we want to expand that offering. And even this year, like there are a lot of innovations that we're bringing. The two things that we see that our organization offers to the community. One is from people who are participating in the theaters. It's all volunteers, all middle-aged folks, pretty much like myself. So I think it gives them a good outlet to participate. We do have several outlets for kids, etc., in theater, but this is like it's not like we're saying it's only middle-aged people, but it's kind of tending like that, right? And on the other side, for the folks who are watching, we've actually been able to pretty much offer it for free to everybody. Some people actually donated money, but pretty much the last show that we had this year, it was a show called The Gift of the Magi. It was our first English show, actually, with the purpose that we wanted to reach more people with the names. Our previous shows were in Indian languages with subtitles, but this was with the intent that we want to reach a much wider audience. And our show was The Gift of the Magi, and it was a houseful show. It was a houseful show, and there were several innovations that we brought. As a small organization, we were able, we had miming, the actors mime. There was live music there was no recorded music. It was all live in the background. We did have kids also in this play. So we're trying several things. And for 25-26, we have two plays that we have already planned, right? Initially, when we started, we were thinking it'll all be just comedy plays, lighthearted plays. But based on demand, we're actually slightly shifting. Within two plays, one of our plays is going to be a lighthearted play. It'll probably be the bigger play. But a second play that we are planning is on mental health, which we find is super important and is not given enough attention. So there's also that social message that we want to bring out. So those are things that we are planning. And, for 26-27, we just want to expand based on the foundation that we are building.
So you mentioned two different plays. Are you planning on two performances for 26-27, or about how many are you thinking about?
So our goal is it'll be two plays and two shows. That'll be a win. So that'll be 4 shows. And one of the, we've actually already been, so there's a cultural center being built in Madrid and they've already started asking us to put plays up over there. And so we want to be able to do that. And so that's one of the things we are finding. Even in our last play, we were able to attract people from Des Moines to our play. And so, perhaps it'll be 2 plays in Ames and then 2 of them in Madrid. It's not completely solidified, but the number of shows, we definitely want to make it 4. And I think what dictates it, kind of in marketing terms, the market size of the audience within Ames. Even if we want to put more shows, we need to be able to attract the audience into the show. So that's kind of a big factor.
Where in Ames do you typically have your shows?
So this year we had it at the Plex Auditorium, which the church. But usually we've had it, the last few years we've had it at the Ames City Auditorium. This year we could not do it. Primarily, I think the dates were just insanely hard to get. One of the other things about the Ames auditorium. So we typically like to have 2 to 3 rehearsals in the auditorium, and that gets kind of more expensive. But for what I'm talking about for 2025, 26, we are planning like a big show for Ames City Auditorium. In fact, I think we've got the dates booked already for April. And for 26, 27, it'll be the same. Like we've always like chosen Ames City Auditorium, but I think for the smaller plays, we'll probably go to smaller stages, which, I think about plays is it's also a better experience for at least to me, it feels that way. It's a better experience for the person who's watching when it seems like it's a full house. One of the things about the Ames City Auditorium is it sits 1,000 people. So even if we get 200 to 300 people, the place looks empty. Whereas, like, for example, like just yesterday, there's a cafe called Lockwood Cafe, and they've got a stage now, like a really small stage at the back, and it can probably seat 50 people. So, we're thinking, oh, maybe, that's a good spot to offer, like, one of our smaller plays. So. All good. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me. Yep.
Okay, we're almost back on schedule. Central Iowa Symphony. I think that's next. Yes.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Rice. I am a board member and a musician for the Central Iowa Symphony. Central Iowa Symphony, we're a local community orchestra here in Ames, and one of our really big things that we really want to promote with our organization is, we're a fantastic, passionate amateur orchestra, but we want to be accessible still. Because I think that there's a stigma with classical music that it's only for, it's elitist. It's only for people with money, which is completely not true. I mean, music is for everyone. And so a lot of times, with any funding that we receive, we put a lot of that towards trying to just lower our ticket costs. A lot of times we'll offer free tickets for children, for students, and we also contribute tickets to the Ollie program over at Iowa State. And because we're a community orchestra, I mean, it allows us to get so much talent just from around the area, and it's really incredible. This is my 4th season now with the Central Iowa Symphony, and honestly, I've been very impressed. Sorry. I know you're used to having Dawn come, and I know I'm new.
Oh.
So, do you have any questions for me at all?
So as I reviewed the budget portion of your application on here, 26, 27 was blank, and it looked like the 24, 25 actuals on your balance sheet were also blank. Do you have that information?
I would have to reach out to Andrew Forbes, our treasurer. Some of the information I was filling out was just based off of what I was sent from previous applications, which were left blank as well. But I can definitely reach out to him and have him shoot an email to you guys. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
If you could do that, then we can make a more informed decision.
Yes, of
on the
course.
application.
We can extrapolate. It's best to have your numbers.
Yes.
What is a typical ticket cost for Central Iowa?
About $20 for adults, but otherwise it's free for children and for students, and then free for anyone with Ollie. It's really interesting because a lot of times, those free tickets for those kids, it's the first time they've really gotten to experience live symphonic music for the very first time. So it's very, very cool to allow them to have that opportunity.
Yeah. How do you pick the pieces to play? Based on.
Yeah, you'd have to ask our music director about that, because I unfortunately have no say in that. But I do really enjoy what we play. This last month, we actually got the chance to perform Glier's Harp Concerto with Acacia Scott. She's a local harpist, and it was absolutely fabulous. It was very, very cool. And Next month, we have our December concert, and we're going to be playing Castelnuovo Tedesco's first guitar concerto, which is going to be something a little bit different because, you hear concerto and you don't exactly think guitar, but it'll be very cool.
Do you invite other conductors?
Sorry, what?
Do you invite other conductors? Guest conductor, special events.
Not from my experience, no. That may have happened in the past, but this is just based on my few years with the organization. A lot of times we do just have guest musicians coming in as soloists. Sometimes it's folks from the Des Moines Symphony. Sometimes it's students from Iowa State performing. So it's a pretty good variety.
Good.
Thank you.
That's all.
Yeah,
All right.
Thank
thanks,
you.
Mackenzie.
Thank you for your time.
Valerie, are you ready?
Valerie's not here.
Valerie is not here. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. For Kids Promotion, you're ready for Kids Promotion?
Yes, yes, sorry. Stage lights are blinding.
You can't see anyone up there. All right, so these are prepared words. A lot of them are from Valerie, but I will share them with you. How do you get from an idea to a dance? That is the question that is asked every day in Kids Commotion. Kids Commotion is expanding the world of creative possibility for young people. Good evening. I'm Gretchen Schaefer, and I'm representing Kids Commotion. I have had children in the program for the last 3 years. This last year, I had all 3 of my kids in the program. Kids Commotion was formed in 1989 to make sure that children ages 8 to 18 in Ames could have a dance experience in which they learned more than dance steps. They learned to create dances. They learned to use words to discuss dance. They learned how to design space and time and effort to tell a story. Each year, Kids Commotion creates dances around a theme, such as voyages, weather, or insects. In 2026, the organizing theme for those dance creations will be mapping. Through the creation process, those dances are critiqued by their peers and by professionals and are honed to a finish. They're costumed, lit, and put on a stage here, generally, to share with an audience. And the performance is always very amazingly well done. The children learn to collaborate, to negotiate, and to tolerate others' opinions. Kids Commotion meets 5 days a week for 3 weeks, then performs on Friday and Saturday of the last weekend. They start each day with an hour-long dance technique class, learning movement vocabulary, using their muscles in different ways, getting stronger, more flexible, and better coordinated. In the next hour, they have composition class, where they learn to connect ideas with expression. Then they eat lunch, and after lunch, they rehearse dances they learned from Valerie, as well as their own finished dances. As I said, this next year, mapping will be the theme. Valerie comes with about 20 ways to approach that theme, and then the kids further edit those ideas until they end up with about 7 or 8 specific ideas, which will be developed into dances to make up the performance. For instance, in previous years, the theme was bubbles. Some of the headings that resulted from that theme were social bubbles, spheres as shapes, and the physics of bubbles, how and why bubbles work, thought bubbles, being bubbly, bubble gum, and iridescence. The funding received from CODA supports hiring an assistant, a lighting designer and stage manager, as well as production needs such as costumes and props, rehearsal and performing spaces, and operating expenses for marketing, printing, and office supplies. Those monies help us keep costs down so that more families are able to participate regardless of income. We so appreciate CODA and what CODA's monies do for the cultural life of Ames. Anybody have any questions?
One question I had as I was looking at the application here, there was nothing populated in the balance sheet. Is that because you don't maintain any other accounts, or it was just missing?
That's a great question that I would need to ask Valerie to email you about. So what was the exact thing that was not populated?
The balance sheet. It is on, it's part 6 of the application.
Okay.
On page 7.
Okay.
Page 7.
Part 6 on page 7.
Yep.
Great. I will email her that question.
Thank you.
Unless she's listening. And you can answer it for us. Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I think they have assets and liabilities, don't you?
One would think.
Okay. Des Moines Metro Opera Ames chapter, is that right? Yes. Yes. Great, thank you.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Scott Arns. I am the Director of Advancement at Des Moines Metro Opera, and I'm here with Shelley Orngard, who is the President of the Ames chapter of the Des Moines Metro Opera Guild. So we are here for the past several years. We have been the grateful beneficiaries of funding from the Ames, from CODA, and that funding has allowed the Ames chapter of our guild to bring charter a shuttle that brings folks from the from the Ames chapter, as well as ISU students and any other Ames residents, down to the performance venue in Indianola for our summer festival opera season. One thing that I'm very excited about this year, which has actually changed even since this was submitted, is that we are actually expanding the shuttle to every single performance of our summer festival this year. So I think I'd listed 10. We had listed 10, and we're actually doing 18 performances. And so for every performance of our summer festival, there will be a shuttle through CIT Charters, which is based here in Ames, that will take folks down from Ames to Indianola. One thing that we value, and I know that the Ames chapter values, is accessibility. There are quite a few folks in the Northcrest retirement community that driving is an issue, and so they really want them to have exposure and access to professional arts. Green Hills as well. And then we work a lot with, in particular, the ISU Opera Studio to make sure that their students are able to come down. Part of this funding helps offset some of those ticket costs. So for the Ames chapter members, the tickets are just $15 for a round trip shuttle there and back again. And we offer free tickets for any ISU students or high school students that would like to attend any of these shows as well. Did I miss anything, Shelley?
No, I think you covered it, but I guess just speaking as someone who takes the shuttle, and as an older person, I know I look like I'm just a kid, but but you know, once you start to have cataracts and you don't have, you know, your spatial abilities aren't as good anymore. It's really nice. It's very comforting to be able to get on a bus and take a bus to this facility. And I don't know how familiar you are with the Des Moines Metro Opera, but it really is a world-class opera. And it's just such a wonderful thing. They've been very good to us. We have a very strong relationship. They come up to our regular meetings. We have monthly meetings. They come up to our meetings. And the fact that they're providing, and with your assistance, you know, this shuttle, it makes that quality of life possible, where we would not be able to do that. Many people with walkers, as you mentioned, maybe college students that don't have cars, that sort of thing. So thank you very much for your support in the past, and know that it really is appreciated.
I just want to say, I think it's awesome that you don't have to pick and choose which opera performance you want to go to if you're covering them all. That is just awesome.
That's pretty exciting.
And CODA has been a huge kind of catalyst for helping us, you know, realizing that there is other funding available. You know, it's because shuttles are not inexpensive, I'll say, but we do feel that this support has just helped us really expand every single year. And now the fact that it's going to be at every single performance, we're just so proud of that and excited.
Yeah. Have they been running full, the shuttles?
Certain ones, yes.
Between Ames and Des Moines.
Yeah.
So we're probably about half full.
Because we usually get the 40 passenger shuttle. I know that we could go up to the 50. So, you know, if we can get there soon, we will. But yeah. Yeah, the matinees in particular sell incredibly well. And then we're still working on the evening ones.
Right.
But,
Wonderful.
Are the prices different for the matinee and the evening?
Same prices.
Same
Yep.
price.
So, yep, $15 for Ames residents. Mm-hmm.
Do you get distinction on who is traveling on the bus? Could other people get on the bus just to get to Des Moines.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I guess we've never done that before. They usually have to have an opera ticket, I suppose. But hypothetically, you're right. If someone
I
wanted,
don't think we've ever been in that position.
and we just say when the shuttle will pick them up on the way back. Yeah.
You stop at the airport.
Exactly.
I really like that you're also targeting Iowa State students. I know, not everybody has a car, so that's a perfect offering for them, and I think that's a great audience to go after. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, I also love the idea, the practice. It's beautiful.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Friends of Ames Strings.
Hello, my name is Matthew Gresh, and I'm here representing the board of Friends of Ames Strings, commonly known as FOAS. We have run a 2-week summer camp every year since 1985, even during COVID, virtually. So the 2-week camp is designed for young strings players who need to bridge the gap between the end of May and the beginning of September, when they have this 3-month break in their school lessons. And the idea is we target students who are not taking private lessons already. The idea being that we can jumpstart them for the next year. So we work with the strings teachers in the Ames Community Schools, and we try to make sure that we help those teachers get a running start at the beginning of the year. And then we also provide a number of opportunities. Typically, we have about 100 kids between 4th and 8th grade who participate in the camp, and we split them into 2 different orchestras based on skill level, and that allows our conductors to choose appropriate music that is sort of challenging, but not too challenging. We try to make sure that they're learning new things, but not scared by something that's difficult. So we hire 2 conductors every year to help us with those 2 different orchestras. And then in addition to the 4th through 8th graders, we also have about 20 high school students who come on as junior coaches for our organization, and they are given an excellent opportunity to learn leadership, to learn organization skills, public speaking, instruction. Many of them go on to be teachers later on. So it's kind of a dual purpose. We serve the younger kids by teaching strings, and we serve the older kids by allowing them a leadership opportunity. In addition, in 2025, we started a new private lesson program after the main summer camp was done, and that worked out really well. That's another opportunity for high school students who are excelling to coach younger kids. So it gives the high school kids a great opportunity. And then the idea was we're focusing on the younger kids who would like to take private lessons but are unlikely to be able to afford it, because a typical private lesson is in the range of, $70 or $80 an hour. It's something a lot of people can't afford. So that was very successful this year, and we would like to do it again in 2026. We provide 4 free public concerts this year with those students. We had a Friday lunchtime and a Friday evening concert here at the Ames City Hall Auditorium. The evening concert was nearly full. It was really well attended. And then we also live stream it online for family members who can't come. Saturday, we had a performance at the Farmers Market for the 2nd year, and that worked out really well. And then we also had a public performance at Mary Greeley Medical Center that was well received. So we're planning on doing that again this year. And all of those concerts are, of course, free for everybody. So we try to charge a very nominal fee for the summer camp. And also, we have need-based scholarships, so anybody who applies and can't pay the nominal fee, we make sure that they can come anyway. We don't turn anybody away. So with that, I'd like to say that we have greatly appreciated the support of CODA over the past many years, and it goes a long way to make sure that we have this opportunity every summer. Ames is sort of unique in that we've got a really great community of young strings players, And I think that this camp has done a lot of good for students who aren't able to afford private lessons all the time. So I'll take any questions.
Do all of the people that take advantage of this program have their own instruments?
They do, right? We typically, those of us on the board have a number of instruments at home. We always bring a couple of extras in case somebody needs one, but they generally do have their own instruments. Many of them are renting. They can rent over the summer through the schools. The Ames Public Schools will rent out instruments over the summer.
Otherwise that would be a problem.
Yeah, it would.
Could be. Wonderful. Thanks, Matt.
All right, thank you.
KHOI-FM, a lot of letters. Welcome back, Tam.
Yes. Well, hello, Tammy Colbeck. I am a board member for KHOI, and it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you a little bit about how we've used the CODA funding just this past year and what we're kind of planning for our next year. So, as you know, community radio, community news has really taken a hit over these past few years, and KHOI continues to deliver a resource for community news and the ability to share those news with our local talk, which we run every day in the morning. We're looking to make that available at night as well, and perhaps adding a second local talk in the afternoon for those of us that 7 a.m. is that tough time to do that interview. But we also are looking, as we've done in the past, the collaboration with other local organizations, from the radio Rocky Horror Show to radio shows, where we're doing horror shows from the 40s as a dramatic radio reading. Able, Iowa, we have authors coming through and movie screenings in our Studio C. So we're doing a lot with a very little, and the funding from CODA makes that happen for us. So there's a fundraising concert every year that helps with money too at Stevens Auditorium. We do a book sale every year as well, twice a year now, and we're just doing whatever we can to keep local talk on the radio as well as our local and national programming.
Great.
Any questions?
No questions.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Remind us the frequency to tune to for KHOI.
89.1.
Okay. Thanks. Nothing like a little free PR. Iowa Youth Ballet is up. Lisa, you ready? Lisa Davis? No Lisa Davis. Lisa Davis. Well, we'll hold that time because we do have a little bit of extra time. We are ahead. Is Manu Smith? Is Manu Smiri? Yes. Hi. Great. I pronounced your name wrong, probably.
No, you did fine.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Thank you. So I am Manu Smriti, and I'm the director of Worldly Goods. And we are a nonprofit fair trade social enterprise, which is different than other organizations that are here. But as you might know, the tariff this year has been hard. I mean, 90% of our vendors have been facing this issue. And our model is that we provide this intra-cultural communication by bringing over 50 countries artisans' work to Ames, and we sell their products and we make profit, and all the profit is reinvested into the organization's operations, of course, after taking out the full-time staff and part-time staff's expenses. But this year, its sales have been going low for significantly. And then thanks to quota funding, I mean, I initiated these workshops that can not also showcase our products, but can create that cross-cultural communication. So we already started, and yesterday, we had a coffee tasting workshop in partnership with Cafe El Zapote, and we had coffee from Uganda and from Honduras, and it received a good reception because it was a 1-hour event. So, and that was possible because of the quota funding we got, and we have some updated signage at the doors, so that tells the message more clearly to the community, like what we do, how we do it. So that's why I'm here, for needing that continued support. Believe it or not, we are in our 39th fiscal year, so 1987, that's when we started, and very soon we'll be completing 40 years. And it's still, when somebody walks into the store, there is still this question, like, what is fair trade? So I constantly feel that there is need for people to know more. Second Saturday of May is a World Fair Trade Day. So I want to make it a big event that can, just tell people about what is fair trade and how do we work. And so for that, I'm planning, of course, I'll have to rent a bigger place, and then we'll have booths everywhere that will showcase our products from Nepal, Vietnam, India, and other countries, that as many as possible. And then we'll have those booths, volunteers working on those booths, and I think that would be a good interactive way to communicate our message to the community. And then we have volunteers from Iowa State, high schoolers. We give volunteer hours to them as well. So that's why I would need that support. And I just want to bring something to your attention, because when I was doing the financials, it looks very good on paper, which is not true, because as you can see, the inventory has been increased significantly, which means we are not selling our products. And if we don't sell our products, there is no point of having that inventory in stock. So thanks to our generous donors, we do have some donations this fiscal year. And with quota grant, I think we are sailing through, but we would need that continued support for sure. So, if you have any questions for me.
Do we have any questions?
I appreciate you speaking to that, because when I looked at it, I had the
Yes.
same impression. So I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
And I had something that I was looking at. The Global Passport Celebration, do you have an idea of when that'll be? Still working it out?
Yes, yeah, that's right. So it's second Saturday of May. That's the World Fair Trade Day. That's when I want to plan that event, if everything works out, or around that time, for sure.
Yeah. I love that you listed out the different events and things that helped connect how, Commission on the Arts, how is it connected to arts?
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
that helped me quite a bit.
Other questions? No, thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Iowa Youth Ballet is up there. I think she's on the phone.
Sorry?
I think that's her for Iowa Youth Ballet.
Lisa Davis.
Lisa Davis, yes.
Yes, I'm so sorry I was out there.
Not a problem. We've been running a little bit ahead, so
Okay.
we've got time. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Do I just go?
Tell us what you want to tell us.
Fairly new to this. So yeah, I'm with Iowa Youth Ballet, and I'm the board president, and we are the ones that facilitate the Nutcracker Ballet at Iowa State every year. This will be our 44th year, so pretty exciting. We've been doing it for a long time. We have branched out a little bit, and that would be why we're asking for more money this year, and that is because we have been inviting the Sugar Plum Fairy, who has been with us the last, we tend to rotate through them, but we really like this one, and so she's come for the last few years, and we had her come for the weekend of the auditions this year, and we feel that that's giving these dancers just a world-class experience, having this professional dancer come. And she spent the whole weekend with us. She did workshops all day on Friday at Stevens Auditorium on stage. And then she was part of the whole audition process this year. So she attended the auditions with us. And then the following day, we did it a little different this year. We had the workshop all day on Friday. We had the auditions on Saturday, which are normally held on Sunday. And then she stayed through Sunday when we did the actual casting, and she was involved in that. We also have her coming next weekend where she will be attending all of the rehearsals, and she will be watching them and giving input. One of the workshops she taught was almost like a theatrical workshop, not just the ballet. And Robert Thomas really thought that he would like her to come when we got closer to the actual performance time to just watch what they've prepared so far, and then just give them some critiques on being maybe a little bit more theatrical. So we will be having her come 3 times this year, which has normally in the past only been, the week of the Nutcracker. So we feel like that's just going to be a really wonderful experience for the dancers. She is very down to earth, very approachable, and the kids visit with her, and it's just a really wonderful experience. So the other reason that we are requesting more funds this year is we have some the way the costumes work is Iowa State owns the majority of the costumes that are used in the Nutcracker, but Iowa Youth Ballet owns some of the costumes for some of the dances that have been added over the years. And they are very, very old, and they are falling apart. So we have a dance that's called Candy Canes, which is like a rocket dance. And they have the white fake fur that every year we have to hot glue it back on because it just keeps falling off. So anyway, we just, overall, we're just trying to provide a really wonderful experience for these kids. We have about 200 dancers that participate from 27 different dance studios across central Iowa. Some travel as far as an hour to an hour and a half to come and participate in the Nutcracker. And I think our audience was about 4,100 last year. So it's as you all know, for those that live in Ames, it's a kind of a family tradition where a lot of families, that's when the Nutcracker happens, then it's holiday time, So I've been involved for, I think we're going on at least doing the backstage part. I believe we figured it out that this is my 22nd year to be working in the backstage with the dancers and the volunteers. And it's a wonderful experience for everyone, I believe. So do you have any questions for me?
I have a question. Maybe just the typesetting and formatting the PDF, but I don't have anything listed for your request for this year.
Oh.
I had the same question. It looked like some of the information on part 5, the budget on page 6, was missing. So, I mean, donations, memberships, program fees, tickets, you may not have any of that. So if it's not there.
Right.
you don't
Yeah,
have it,
I
but
know that
then-
we were requesting the full amount, the 10,000, and I believe we got 4,600 maybe last year. So, and that was, again, we have those extra expenses that we were hoping to get the extra funds for. Also, we have been paying very, very minimum, not even minimum wages to our instructors that teach the children, and we'd really like to pay them a little bit more money. So that's why we were asking for more. So,
All right. We'll need that corrected information.
yeah, would you like me to send you a new?
Brian's the guy to talk to. Yeah.
Yes, you can send any.
Because I can do that as soon
additional
as I get home
information.
tonight.
Yep, to the coda@cityofames.org.
The same place I sent the first one?
email address.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to that, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a very good computer person, so I'll get someone that is to send it.
Wonderful. That would
Is that it?
super. I just wanted
Okay.
to say my daughter danced in the Nutcracker several times, worked her way up. And it's become a tradition with her now to go and see the Nutcracker every year. And her future husband proposed to her outside of the Metropolitan Opera in New York City.
That is
Or-
fabulous, fabulous. About how many years ago was that? I'm just wondering if I would
Oh,
have.
she danced, she's 37 now. I didn't say
Oh.
that in public, did I?
She probably danced with my boys because I have a boy that's 37 that danced in it.
Most
So yeah, no, and I forgot to mention that we something else that we've done is to make more people aware of it. We go and do something in West Des Moines where it's like a storefront thing. I'm not the one that's responsible for that. And that's why I missed coming in. I apologize because I called the person that takes them to see if we were still doing that this year. But they go and they do something in Des Moines. They go and put on a performance at Riemann Gardens during their, winter before Nutcracker. And then we also go to retirement homes. And the kids will just do little snippets of their routines just to get the interest of people and to share. A lot of the people in the retirement homes aren't able to attend, and so it's just an opportunity for them to get just a little bit of a taste of it, because it's a tradition, and a lot of people come, like I said, will drive an hour and a half one way every weekend to come to rehearsals, and we start rehearsals. We started early this year. We had auditions in August. It used to be the weekend after Labor Day, and we started in August, and we go through till the weekend of the Nutcracker. So quite an experience.
Great.
But thank you for sharing. I will let everyone know about that. That's an exciting story. Thank you so much, and I'll get that sent to you when I get home. So thank you.
Thank you.
Someone's proposing to my daughter is not a very happy thought right now. It made my heart race. One sidebar issue, may I?
Well, we have one more item left on the agenda. Upcoming important dates. No December meeting, that's an important date.
Yeah.
Next meeting will be in 2026, on January 3rd. Any other business?
Just procedurally, so the city council will meet in early December and set the amount that will be provided, your pot of money to utilize for the grant awards. Once that number is known, we'll send out a spreadsheet to you all, and you can begin plugging in your recommendations. If you'd like, starting right now, you can begin, thinking about how much you would like to ensure stays set aside for special project grants, and how much you would, which organizations made a compelling case and you want to provide greater support for.
Now, there's 23 groups that presented today. Is that a record? That's a lot.
I think it probably is. It's been 20 to 21 groups most of the years I've been involved. So it is quite a few.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask for a clarification? If something jumps up at me and my second.
Yes, if you need some more information that you haven't thought of tonight, then send me or Jeremy a note, and then we will ask for it from the organization, and we'll send it around to all.
It's a big if.
So we should go through.
Just in case.
Yes, please. Yep.
Just in case.
All right.
One final thing. Sorry.
Before we adjourn?
Yeah, before we.
Yes.
The one of the requirements is that the organizations are all nonprofit registered organizations, right?
This comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we fact check that?
We do look up the entities in the Secretary of State's database at the time that we prepare the contracts, because we have to make sure that the contract reflects their legal name.
Right. Yeah, because I noticed a couple of them are behind filing, renewing, etc. So I didn't want to tell them directly. That's not a very good thing to say.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that at the contract stage, that's okay.
All right. If there are no other items, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.